forever.
Yeah, there's been technique going on.
And then David's dad taught him like all the technique he knew, and then he turned it into a game and called it parkour. And then it.
So he was kind of the guy who made it all.
Well, not even then, because like he got it all kind of in one spot, so that it all kind of started. But like wall fronts and like those things.
And it came out of gymnastics, right?
It came out of itself. It is itself, and it started. People started moving, and then the coolest part about what we do is that it's really artistic. So we like do something, and we're like, well, this is cool. Well, what if I could do it like this too? And what if I could do this? And one of the cool videos, like whenever we watch parkour videos, it's like one of the main things that we all go to look to see is what is new. Like, oh look, this guy did a new move that I haven't seen before. After it's been done, then it gets done a lot. And then it gets like structured. And then now this is how you do a palm flip. Like a few years ago, it was just like, a palm flip was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe he did that. And now like everyone does them because like,
yeah, it's ridiculous.
There's a structure.
Parkour's kind of still in its infancy, really.
It evolves constantly.
It's still being made. It's still, the structure's still being laid out. We haven't found our limits.
If you go back like 3 years ago, like 4 years ago, you'll just see like back then it was just like you saw the founders videos like David and the Yamakasi and stuff. They saw like lots of plyos and just like straight gap jumps.
Yeah.
And then you have the Cambridge kids that we all started watching, and they would do like these huge rail precisions and stuff, and they like really got the precision technique, and like they stopped with all the gap jumps and stuff a lot. There was a lot more control.
You're talking like jumping from thing to thing to thing?
Yeah, like rail to rail. And instead of just doing like, roof to roof and rolling, then you started seeing this evolution of, I'm gonna go all the way over there and land on this rail and stick it and not move. And then, like everyone used to do just like jump, plyo on 2 feet. And then the Cambridge kids, you saw like this evolution of the stride coming where they were just like, just on 1 foot and just like striding rails and stuff. I remember when that happened, and like there were all these articles about it, like, oh, the Cambridge stride. Everyone's been jumping with 2 feet, and now these kids found this more efficient way, and they're just like striding everything.
So the bar's being raised constantly.
Yeah, all the time.
Flip progression's like been ridiculous because like when it started, like gymnastics was a big deal, and it was like, oh look, I can do a backflip off things, and it was like a cool idea to do the flips that they could do inside, but the more easy ones outside over concrete because that just doesn't happen on different levels. So then that gets really boring really quick, doing backflips off things. So then it's like, well, I can now do a back full. Oh, I can do an Arabian. I can do, like a back with 360. Oh. And then it's like, oh, that's cool. I can do a back double. I can do, double full. I can do all this like crazy different moves. And then after you get done with all the gymnastics outside, then we started making our own moves. Like palm gainer, like palm flips and like palm sides, and like there's a huge evolution of moves that are like tricking, and then it's then like he was saying, all the stride and the control and stuff, and then you start mixing those things together. Well, everyone can palm gainer now. It's like I'm seeing them in videos everywhere. But anyways, now you can do these like crazy flips that are strictly parkour flips, and then do them with control and precision. So now it's like, oh, I used to be able to, like, it's a big deal to jump and land on that rail. Now I'm gonna like do a palm flip and land on that rail, and like, that's insane. Like, it doesn't seem like it's anywhere near possible. And a few years ago, it just wasn't, because there wasn't technique to the moves that were being created. Now the moves have been done so many times that if you push like this and you do it wrong, you have to set higher. And this is how you set higher, so then the technique's all built.
Like, if you came 3 years ago, like, there was no one really to teach us. When I started, there was like no one. You just started and you trained. But now, like, the next generation, there's people who are experienced all over that can just help everyone. So like him, for example, I've been training here in Orlando for 3 years. And like all the stuff that took me 3 years to get, he's done almost all of it in like 6 months just training with me. Cause like everything we go through is like, oh, you did this? And I'm like, yeah, it's easy, go for it. And then he does it.
So it's like a big FU somewhat.
Yeah, and like, I think just an example of how fast it evolves, there's a skill called a roll bomb, where you roll like on a wall and there's like a drop. So you roll, and then before your feet touch the ground, you do another flip and land. So like for the last couple of years, people like if you go back like a year and a half ago, not many people did roll bombs. By now, there are tons of people who have roll bombs. But like 2 months ago, a guy named Kato from Sweden, he did a 360 dive roll bomb. But then like 2 weeks later, a kid did a 540 dive roll. There was like roll bomb forever, and no one involved it. And then Kato does 360 dive roll bomb, and then 2 weeks later, another kid does 540 roll bomb.
Yeah.
So like it was like, oh, Kato invented this, and this kid's like, oh, I'm gonna go one step further the next week.
Next is
So, like,
720 roll bomb.
yeah, it's really fast, the evolution of it.
Yeah.
Like every generation, just like they make the generation before them look like they didn't know what they were doing.
Yeah. Wow.